Good afternoon. It is Monday, October 2nd. So much good news today. Last week was rough, but it ended on a high note. Things are turning around and getting so much better so quickly. Pierre and I are refocused. He went this morning with a long list of to-dos. He's got a lot of things that he has to accomplish, so he's gone for the day. The lady that owns the condo, my friend Juliana, she came today. She showed up at the door and she was like, oh my God, I was so worried about you guys. And she was like about to cry and she's hugging me and hugging the kids. So she took all her stuff with her. That's less clutter in my condo, yay. But she gave me a lot of really good news. She's been listening to the news and she said that the Navy is going to send a floating hospital to stay offshore for any emergencies, anything that's needed, which is awesome. The best thing that she said was that the engineers of the Army are going to stay here long term to work with the local electric companies to fix Puerto Rico's electrical infrastructure. That is huge because the electrical infrastructure here is horrible. I mean, it hasn't been updated since like the 50s. It's really bad. In other news, the kids homeschooled today. I am getting really good at cooking on a hot plate. Like I cooked potatoes with onions and peppers and garlic, and then my neighbor came and gave me an avocado and I am like feasting over here. My sheets I think should be dry by now. That was like the biggest thing. The biggest complaint that I had was that my sheets were so horrible and stinky and I didn't have any place to wash and dry them. And so now, since we have that rooftop access, I'm going after this to go up there. Right after I hung my sheets yesterday, it started pouring raining and I was like, I don't even care because the smell is gone and at some point they'll dry. So they should all be dry by now and we get to sleep on clean sheets. That's awesome. And I made a friend. Like I really like Daniela. She's pregnant and she's got 2 sons, a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. How perfect. And they're so nice. Her husband is a doctor and she's an artist and they're just so wonderful. She's the one that gave me the avocado. So we're about to go to the beach together, our 2 families. Our husbands are both out working and we're gonna go to the beach. Like, oh, it's starting to feel like normal life again a little bit, just a little bit. Clean sheets, hurricane hack. So anyways, today is Tuesday, October something. Pierre is out trying to get cash. Again, he still hasn't gotten cash from anywhere. But I think today is the day that he gets cash in hand. So that'll be good because we have to go grocery shopping again at some point. Yesterday, Pierre found out that at the stadium about half hour from here, there's been a FEMA truck since last Thursday handing out water and all kinds of necessities, but also supplying Wi-Fi. So he was able to get online, email his employer, call again people, and actually get on Facebook and Gmail and all that kind of stuff. And he actually even did a Facebook Live. So, and he posted a status to my wall. So that was good. There's like actual communication happening now. So the plan for today later on is for me to go to the stadium and see if I can get caught up on the last 2 weeks of not being on the internet.
And all of this side. Yeah, that's what I meant to do.
Hey Jules,
Hi.
you didn't want to come to the beach today?
No.
Are you not having a good time?
I am. Yeah.
Every single day we have helicopters passing by here. All different shapes and colors and sizes. Every single day. Operation Cash was a success. Pierre came home with cash. And that's awesome because now I can go food shopping and I don't have to nickel and dime every can of beans. So now I'm going to Econo to buy groceries. I did not get a chance to go to the stadium today because there was a miscommunication. And actually, you know what, it's okay because I'm really not in any kind of hurry to get back on the internet and deal with 2 weeks of not being on the internet. The funny thing about things like this that happen is that Americans move on quickly. So Hurricane Maria is so 2 weeks ago, you know, so 2000 late, and they've already moved on. There's been other crises, other things that have happened. Nobody's really thinking about this anymore. So for me to get online at this point and say, oh, I've survived, it's just kind of old news. Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 4th, and I have updates. Yesterday we were hanging out in the parking lot in the evening with the neighbors, and I happened to mention that I still haven't gotten reception on my phone because a lot of the neighbors have been able to call people, including Pierre, and I still hadn't picked up any kind of signal. And one of my neighbors, an 18-year-old boy who actually left on a flight today out of San Juan back to St. Louis, he was like, let me check your settings. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my settings. I've checked my settings. Everything's on roaming. You know, Pierre's checked my settings. And he's like, let me check your settings. And apparently under carrier, I had automatic clicked, and he's like, oh no, you have to turn that off because if it's on automatic, it's constantly going to be looking for AT&T network. As soon as I turned it off, Claro showed up as an option, and I clicked on it, and I was like, oh my God, like I just like hugged him so hard, and he's like, now come with me. And he took me to another building that nobody lives in. It was pitch black, to the 3rd floor of that building, and he's like, stand in this specific corner, face your phone like this, and all of a sudden all these texts started coming in that I had gotten that I never received, and I was like, oh my God. And he was like, enjoy, and he left, and I stayed in that spot for hours, just calling, texting, trying to get in contact. Some of my texts bounced back and some of the calls didn't go through, but I was able to speak to my very best friends. I was able to, I think, leave voicemails for family members, and it was just so wonderful to speak to someone else other than this phone. I heard that my Facebook page is blowing up with people just asking about us and praying for us and letting us know if we need anything. I heard there's a ton of people like ready to mobilize and send resources here. As soon as we give them the word, they're ready. And I'm just like, that's amazing, because we're connected with this church that's very hands-on in the community. There's 3 doctors that live in the condos, and they've been out there every single day in the face of the worst. And so knowing that we can help these doctors, we can help the church, provide them with more resources so that they can do better help. I mean, that's how it is out here. Every day we see helicopters and ships going by to San Juan, and of course, you know, that's where everything should pass through, but we're all the way on the other side of the island, so it's more of a grassroots movement on this side, people helping people. And so the fact that I was able to connect and I found out that there's all these people chomping at the bit ready to send whatever we need, I'm like, that's awesome. And the fact that God has so fully provided for us that we don't personally need anything at all unless you can send me a working washer and dryer. So today, he said if I'm home by 2 o'clock that I can go to the stadium, that he'll be back at 2, and he's going to take us to the stadium so that I can get my, connection. So now I have a purpose and a reason to go get connected and communicate, and I'm very happy about that.
My turn. Oh, what? I forgot what that means. Cloud? Cloud. Yeah.
So Pierre didn't show up today at 2 p.m. like he said to bring me to the warehouse, but it was because he went and bought a Claro phone for like $400 to try to get us a hotspot so that we don't have to keep going to that location, which, by the way, he passed by and they told him they shut down the Wi-Fi, so they're not even giving Wi-Fi anymore. So now he bought a phone to try to get us Wi-Fi connection. It's not working, but I think if we...
It's working. It worked prior. We're testing it from a different location.
It's not working from here. So I think if we get in the car and we drive up the hill, we should be able to get some kind of Wi-Fi connection. So progress, we just pulled right into the gas station and we were able to get gas without waiting on some crazy long lines. That's back to normal. We're driving right now to Bayamon because I still to this day haven't spoken to anyone in my family everyone else is speaking for me. I heard that I'm looking for a flight to leave Puerto Rico, and I'm like, why? No, I'm not. People are talking to me and sending me texts and messages on my wall as if I'm the one that's purposely not communicating, and it's so frustrating. Like all of a sudden I decided to be silent. All of a sudden, after over communicating forever, I decided for 2.5 weeks to just be quiet and not say anything, and purposely not respond to anyone's messages, and purposely not post on Facebook, and purposely not post on YouTube. No, I can't. And my husband bought a Claro phone, and now he's been all over the internet, so even more so people are like, oh, he's talking, why can't she? No, his phone doesn't work for me. I tried. We went to the airport yesterday. I tried to connect to his hotspot, and I was able to see things, but I couldn't communicate. It's frustrating me more than anything else. So now we're on our way to Bayamon. And hopefully there, I'm not even saying I am, because you don't understand how frustrated I am right now. So frustrated. Hopefully in Bayamon I'll be able to communicate with people and clear up any rumors. Plantains. All of this was green. All these mountains were green. Everything is brown. This stuff will come back to life. So I've been able to get some good cell service on the way out east. So I've been able to respond to all my texts finally. Awesome. I'm still looking for good internet service. I found out from my good friend Erica Thomas that Young Living is here right now, and they are in San Juan handing out care packages. So we're heading to San Juan.
You know, we're used to doing 10-hour drives to North Carolina, so.
I know, I told him we're such long distance drivers, and then with all this gas stuff that happened, now I'm like, we're going too far. But there's no shortage of gas here. I just appreciate the gas more now that we've had to stand online for it. Well, we meaning him. No, look, we're in San Juan. The products were moved. The products were moved to a member's house. So now we're going to someone's house. I get to make a new friend that I won't be able to call. But
batteries. They are batteries inside the lantern already, and they have replacement batteries as well.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
And this is the
Yeah.
rice.
We can take
Unfortunately, that's
that's fine.
what we have.
no,
That's
that's wonderful.
It would be
And
awesome if
we
can
can take
get.
all that, because we
Yes.
could give it to a pastor
Yes.
in Isabela.
Yes.
And they already have 60 families that they're giving food
Perfect.
to and other things too, so that's gonna help
That's
them.
what we want. We want to
Perfect.
people that are providers.
Yes.
This is so amazing to me. We're in San Juan, and people are coming out of the mall, like they're shopping, there's traffic.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock in the evening, 5:30, and there's tons of traffic and people shopping.
Why is it good that there's tons of traffic?
I'm just saying, it's like regular life over here. Like there's trees down, and there's poles down, electrical poles, and they are having problems with their electricity, but it's like nothing happens over here.
Like deep inside.
I'm getting on Facebook, I'm like texting, I'm using Google Maps. Like this is like regular normal life. And we're
You
about
wanna
to
move here?
Nope,
Okay.
I do not. But I'm just saying that when you're on this side of the island, you kind of forget that anything happened, because this just feels so normal. That's all I'm saying. You don't feel that way?
No, I see it, but at the end of the day, I saw also a lot of places that, got pretty much disheveled. That's the way I would put it, so there's definitely been some destruction by the hurricane on this side, although the hurricane didn't necessarily come through here with its eye, but still, there's been destruction.
Not like over there.
Yes. Thank you, Lord, for your everybody, and thank you, Lord, that's good for your name. Amen.
Look what's happening to my rice. Look what's happening to my rice. I'm just gonna taste it. That was mine.
Come on,
Morning, it's Friday, October something. Yesterday was so amazing on so many levels. My gosh, like, you know, we're over here in Isabela, and like I said before, we don't have any lack, we don't have anything that we need, but surrounding areas are, you know, without water, without electricity, without access to food, without access to their medical care. Doctors are fleeing the island. Patients are being left without doctors because they're just leaving and not letting them know. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people fleeing the island right now. A lot of people being left stranded. A lot of pets just being left behind. There's a lot of things going on. And you start to feel like it's like that all over the island. You start to feel like the whole entire island is in these dire straits. But for the most part, you drive to San Juan and it's just, you forget that Maria ever happened. Like, people are at restaurants, people are out, you know, dancing, the lights were on, we drove by a mall and it was packed, like people shopping and driving around, and it's like, just feels like normal life. And it made me feel better because you realize that life didn't end when Maria happened. You know, the world didn't end when Maria happened, and just 2 hours away, life is still going on pretty much as usual, pretty much as normal. Yes, they were inconvenienced a little bit, but it's not like this side of the island where it looks like disaster struck, you know. So today we are going to Mayagüez, which is only an hour away, and I heard it's similar to San Juan in that everything is functional and operational. So if we can get to Mayagüez and things are like they are in San Juan, that would be awesome, because that's only an hour from here, and I'm willing to go an hour away to connect and do things once a week. It's better than driving all the way 2 hours to San Juan. So that's where we're off to today. So we just got back from Mayagüez, which was like 50 minutes from here, and just like San Juan, it was totally operational. Pierre and I sat in a Taco Bell getting like tons of internet stuff done for 3 hours, 4 hours. I don't know how long we were there, just catching up on a lot of things that we needed to do online. And then we went to see a movie with the kids. We went to see Lego Ninjago, which was like Joshua's #1 stipulation back in May when I said, hey, what do you think about moving to Puerto Rico? He was like, are we gonna be able to see the Lego Ninjago movie? It comes out September 22nd. And I'm like, yeah, totally, not knowing, of course, that Maria was coming. I was gonna knock out everything. Actually, I'm sitting in front of Rico Mini Bakery, which right now, because the letters got knocked down, just says Mini Bakery. And the bakeries in Puerto Rico are more like delis and diners. They're not just bakeries. But my kids were really hungry, so they're in there with Pierre finding something to eat. And right across the street is a complete pitch black shopping center that's got a movie theater, a Walmart, a grocery store, a Claire's, an Aeropostale, all these things, a Burger King, like all these things, but you wouldn't even know it because it's pitch black and everything is boarded up. And we drive down the streets here, none of the traffic lights are working, everything is pitch black. But in Mayagüez, some of the traffic lights work, you know, all of their stores have electricity. This entire shopping center that we went to was open and operational. And honestly, I have to tell you, it feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone because we were completely cut off, because all the cell towers fell down and we were completely cut off from cell service, internet, any kind of communication, and we couldn't get gas, and we couldn't rent any cars, and nobody was giving cash, but everything was cash only. It was like we were stuck for at least a week, not knowing anything about anything. I mean, not having any ability to news, nothing, and everything. And my husband standing on lines for 12 hours waiting for gas, and they're only giving like $10, so you can't drive, you know, you don't want to drive even half an hour to go anywhere else. So we were stuck in this little circle of Isabela for 2.5 weeks. And now I'm getting out there and I'm seeing that just 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours away from where we are, people were resuming life. And I can understand now why my family and my friends were like, hello, like, knock knock, where have you been? Why aren't you communicating? You know, because if an hour away people are communicating and posting on Facebook, it's pretty much only been me that hasn't been able to communicate. And I had people like really angry with me, including my mother-in-law, because she thought I was just purposely choosing not to communicate. My sister thought I was purposely choosing just I'm just gonna ignore all these texts and messages and just not communicate. And it's like, did I really just live the life that I just did for the past 2.5 weeks, where I was completely isolated and cut off and stuck in a little circle when everything around me was going on like nothing ever happened? Like, it just feels so bizarre. And I go to these places and I feel so weird. Like, I'm glad I was documenting and vlogging everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't even really believe that it happened. Like, it feels very, very weird. But at the same time, I'm grateful that life is returning back to normal. Joshua, what'd you get?
A letter from Isaac.
Yay!
Okay, I'm gonna.
Who's Isaac?
My best friend. Last name is Lewinson.
That's awesome. Today is Saturday, October 8th, I think. And we are on our way to try to find a laundromat. Yesterday we found connectivity, we found a movie, so that was fun, but we didn't find a laundromat. I'm sitting in the back seat because we've been driving so many long distances the past couple days that Joshua's back hurts. So he's sitting in the front seat for the first time. He's very excited about it. Phenomenon that's happening around here now is that people are still standing in line for things. They don't realize that they don't have to stand in lines anymore. So we'll still pass gas stations with long lines of cars, or we'll pass supermarkets with lines outside of people waiting to get in. Even though there isn't any scarcity, I mean, if you find a gas station that has a line, just go to the next gas station and there won't be one. But I think when people see lines, they just assume that every gas station has a line and they'll just get on the back of the line. Or if you see a grocery store with a line outside, just go to another grocery store and there won't be a line. I think people have just taken it as the new normal of having to stand in line. So they're not thinking like, oh, I'll just go to the next one. They just get in line, and the line gets longer, and then more people see it and they get in line. So there's still lines for gas stations and grocery stores and things, even though there's no scarcity. Good morning. It's Sunday, October something. I'm gonna get better at knowing the date, I promise. We're on our way to church. Church starts at 10. All of a sudden this week we've become a distribution center, which is so amazing. Yesterday my husband was able to put up a website. We made a quick video where we can tell people what we need, not what we need, but what people in the community need. And we've hooked up with our next door neighbors, which are both doctors, and my friend's husband is a doctor, and they all live here, and they've been on the ground seeing what people need. So they gave us a list also of the most pressing needs, like gauze, you know, things that we take for granted in the States, and lots of other medical things that I don't know what they are, but they know what they need. So we're able to publish that list and get it out to folks in the States that want to help specifically, that want to help and know that everything that they're donating is going right to the need and not to administrative costs or advertising costs. My husband and I, our needs have been met. You've seen every week how he's been supplying our needs supernaturally. And so now we're able to become a distribution center and help others that are in need. So it's really cool.